I'm Christy Hartman. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to play today with two new stencils from my friends and colleagues from PM Artist Studio. We're going to play with this stencil, which is a Myriam Wulf stencil. It's called O Springs. The next set are called Pathways by Eddie Reyes of Eddie Makes Art. You're going to see me today use these two stencils in a couple different ways. You're going to see me struggle, and in this case right here, you're going to see me like this stencil better than I actually like the print. Let's get started. I'm going to use this stencil, which is a stencil by Eddie Reyes from Eddie Makes Art. I've got my 5x7" plate. I'm going to use these three paint colors, and I'm going to ombre onto my plate, putting this white in the center. Going to lay this down. I'm going to take, this is just a brayer off, and I'm just going to try and remove as much of that paint. I have a lot of paint on there, so I'm going to have to be really careful that I don't move my stencil. Isn't that the coolest thing? Let's take another brayer off. Yeah, let's do the brayer off. Didn't get much off. Let's use a piece of deli paper. See if we can get the rest of that off. Okay, I think what's on there now is going to stay. Now, I just want to gently pick this up and look at it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to pull this off very gently. Then I'm going to, that has to dry anyway, so I'm going to grab this brayer off. Let's lay that down. I think I've got enough paint. I'm going to get, okay, let's see if I got any transfer here. Not much. So what I kind of think I'm going to do is on this one, I'm going to use those same paint colors and do the opposite on this one. Pull that off. I love that too. I have the opposite of each one of these. Okay, we're going to try something. This is another stencil. This is by Myriam Wulf. This is a PM Artist Studio stencil. We're going to do two different ways of applying this pattern to the back of this. We're going to lay it down over the top. We're going to add this iridescent bright gold fine. We're not going to put it right on the gel plate. We're just going to put it on the stencil. Okay, now we're going to pull that off. We're going to turn this over and go right over the top to hopefully transfer the rest of that paint. Yeah, it worked. Okay, these are dry. We're going to add some interference blue. I'm not going to put the paint directly on the plate. I'm going to put it over here on this other 5x7" plate. So let's brayer this out. Get it good and thin. Go over the top. Do the same to this one. So this is like an isolation layer on this piece, while this dries, let's lay this stencil down. Let's just use this brayer off. I don't know how much of this we'll be able to pick up, but hopefully we'll be able to get some up. Yeah, there we go. I got a lot of it. Can you see it? Yeah, I got a lot of it up. Okay, let's pull this up. All right, so here I have the interference blue in the shape of that great stencil, and I'm going to let that dry. And then this one actually looks like that. You can see, you get a little glare, I'm sorry. I think that's going to be really, really pretty. And the same thing with this one. You're going to get a little glare. I apologize. These are dry. This one I'm going to use Pyrrole Orange on. This one I'm going to use the Pyrrole Red Dark on. I don't know how this one is going to turn out. It might be a disaster because I've got blue here, but I'm hoping that that isolation coat helped, that it doesn't go brown with the orange and the blue. Okay, first one. Ooh, that's actually really, really pretty. Oh, I love that. That's going to be great. So let's do the Pyrrole Red. Oh, I love that one too. It actually looks more red in the camera. It's actually more pink. What happens when you like the stencil better than you like the resulting print? Let's see what happens. Now we have this one, which has the interference blue on it already. I'm going to line up the stencil so it masks out what's on the plate. And I haven't decided what color yet, but I want to use this stencil by Myriam Wulf. Okay, let's try Quin Violet. I'm going to lay this down over the top of it, and then I'm going to take a piece of deli paper, go right over the top of all of this. Try to remove as much of that paint behind the stencil as possible. Okay, let's pull this up. And that didn't work particularly great. I don't love that. So let's let that dry. Okay, I'm going to try this a different way because all I got was the outline. And it's okay, it's not what I wanted. So we're going to take a little bit more of this Quin Violet. I've got Myriam's stencil right over the top of all this. Add a little bit more paint this time. Whoops. And I'm just going to brayer right over the top. Pull that off. See what we've got. I think we just have a mess. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. Okay, so let's just remove some of this. Yeah, we need to go over this again. All right, I didn't like that. So that's a no-go. That did not work. Let's let that dry a minute. Let's try something different. So I have this stencil. I'm going to put it on another 5 by 7 inch plate because I did not like that. Let's put some more paint on here, on this one. And then let's take this off of here, let that dry, turn it over, and put down a piece of deli paper. Move that out of the way, and let's go over the top of it. And then lay that. And let's look at how that looks. I'm not sure I love that either. Yeah, I don't love that at all. In fact, this is not working. This is a little bit of a disaster, to be perfectly honest, but we'll see if we can salvage it. If we can't, it's not the end of the world. Let's go over this with iridescent gold fine. I think that will work. Pull this off, and we still have the blue in the background, and that's the way it's going to look. This is dry, so I think we'll go over the top of this with cobalt blue, and I'm going to use the open. I just like the way open pulls better. I think you have a better opportunity for getting your paint through to all your layers with open, honestly, because that's basically what your paint does on a gel plate, is it rehydrates all of those layers that are on the gel plate. So if you're rehydrating your layers, it makes sense that it's going to pull your layers better. We'll see how this one turns out. This is kind of an experiment. That's okay. I don't know. I don't love it, but we'll see. This one is ready to be pulled. Oh my gosh, I love this. Absolutely love that. This one, the orange one. Oh. Yeah. Okay, that one's lovely too. You can see the gold in behind the pattern. Love it. Let's pull this one. Well, it's a little different technique. And surprisingly, I think it turned out pretty darn good. Well, last but not least, we have this one. Let's add a little dioxazine purple to this. Let's pull that off. That looks good, but let's see how it looks when we turn it over. Oh, it's lovely. This is dry. I think we'll add an isolation coat to this using this pearl violet from Amsterdam. This is dry, or dry enough anyway. I'm going to use this PBO iridescent gold. It's precious gold, number 350. We're going to use a very light coat, and I'm going to use this stencil by Myriam Wulf. Because I want this to be such a light coat, I'm going to use my 3x5 inch gel plate to load my brayer. Pull that off. I think that's going to work. Let's turn this over. Yes, that is going to work. That's going to be so cool. Okay, we'll let this dry. When I come back, we'll pull it. We're going to try this gray. I have not used this. This is a new paint for me. All right, we're going to give this a shot. Yeah, could be kind of cool. We'll see. These are my completed prints. Here's the one that I did with the orange background, which I think looks really spectacular. This is the one with the red background, which I love also, and I love the way that O Springs stencil shows up in the background. This one, which was a little bit of a disaster, and I'm not entirely sure I redeemed myself, but you know, it's always good to see somebody struggle. This one I think turned out really well. I like the gray in the background, but I do like the way O Springs shows up in the front, even though it's a little bit subtle. Then I had this one, which was a flop off, which I love this. I will use this for something, I don't know what. And I did one more where I took my stencil over the top of this beautiful brayer off, and I just pounced using a makeup sponge and some black paint, and I think this one turned out brilliantly. In these 4 prints I used today a technique that I call adding an isolation coat. The isolation coat is designed to separate your layers so that you can add complementary colors to them and not get that brown look that occurs when you mix 2 complementary colors. I actually find in this video that it works exceptionally well. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, share it with your friends. I always love to have new subscribers. That's how we get new subscribers. Leave me that thumbs up, please. I can't tell you how important that is. And let me know what you think about this video. I didn't fast forward as much through it. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. See you in my next video.